Hello, BookTube. This is one of those very rare things on this channel, and that's a Friday Reads. Something I should do more of, but I don't. And I'll turn over a new leaf, and we'll see how that goes. Good week on BookTube. Watched Steve Donoghue last night with his two-part James Verini author interview, author of a nonfiction book about his time in Mosul, the larger theme of war. He was an embedded reporter with the Iraqi troops, I believe. After watching it, the library did go ahead and order his new book. I think it's been out about a week. So go over there and watch that two-part if you get a chance. My wife and I sat down and watched it last night. It was excellent. It was a very interesting subject. So yeah, we really enjoyed that. The larger topic of war, the American presence, the creation of the caliphate, and then all that was very interesting. I could have watched another hour of it, to be honest with you. Plus, I'm getting a little tired of watching the news over here, so I guess it's sort of the same type of thing, but it was a nice break when I got home from work last night. Been watching some other booktubers. Jason Harrigan, very much enjoying catching up on everything he's done. Excellent new channel. A book reader, obviously, a booktuber, and a book collector who has wonderful insights into that part of the bookish life that I enjoy hearing more about. The History Shelf is another channel that I've been really enjoying. I believe I'm caught up on her videos, and another great addition to the community. Really some interesting reading she does, and she does book reviewing also, and I believe she's on Open Letters, so if you get a chance, go check out Open Letters online. And I'll get to some books I've been reading, but the other person I watched was Lukash over at Totally Pretentious, a channel I've watched, I think, since he started his channel, and I think both of us started it pretty close to the same time, so he's sort of that group of people I think of when I think of my own channel. And he did a piece on bookish polygamy, and it was really good. It made me think about, he's talking about, do you read more than one book at once? He's talking about, does BookTube cause you to read differently if you have a channel, or even if you watch? He talks about buddy reads. Is there pressure there? And I have been thinking about some of the things he was talking about, and for me, the buddy read thing. Jason's going to be doing Foucault's Pendulum by Umberto Eco, and I really want to jump in on that. Lukash, I've done many buddy reads with. Dune, I did the first book. I didn't realize the whole series was going to be done, and I just don't have time to go through the whole series again, nor the inclination. But I did love rereading Dune. I had done Anne McCaffrey's Dragon Rider series with Elena Macredina. I had Thomas Covenant with Lukash, and I didn't continue with that series either. And his point about, okay, is this taking up my time? Am I being pushed in this direction by getting into all these buddy reads? And I think he has a point. Doesn't mean I don't like buddy reads, and I don't think he meant that either. Watch his video and you can see what he has to say, and I'll link it down below. I'm not a big buddy read person anymore because of it does channel my reading. But I am a polygamist. in the bookish sense, not otherwise. And I have piles of books everywhere. And he talked about the length of the book and this sort of thing. Do we read shorter works because we're reading more? We want to have more to report on our channels and stuff. 90% of the books I read, I never even talk about on my channel. And I have piles of books at work because I'm a librarian, so if somebody walks in and I'm reading, I'm at work, right? I have to read to even do my job. I have piles of books at my house on each floor of my house. Not on the floor, but each story of the house. So down in the living room, excuse me, I have a pile of books on a side table. I did a video once, I think, called The Side Table, what I was reading. And there's probably 8 books on there I'm reading. Some of them I've been reading for months. Some are new there. I have a couple in the dining room, which is the whole room's books, and one little place to eat in the middle, which nobody eats at, by the way. And my record player's there, so I have a pile of books there I read. Upstairs, I have a little office on the landing upstairs. So there's probably 8 or 9 comic books that need to be read that I have a pull list for. There's probably 1 or 2 books there, and then there's maybe 2 or 3 books in the bedroom on the sides, on the stand on my side of the bed. So there's books everywhere, and to me, that's how I read. I've read that way. I'm almost 60 years old, and I've probably read that way for 50 plus years. So half a century of reading like that. I'm not going to change now. It doesn't bother me a bit. I can pick up a book, put it down, pick it up, put it down. I don't feel any pressure to finish it at any particular time. If I did, it would sort of take the fun out of it, right? I'm not in college anymore. When I was in college, I obviously had to finish things at a certain time. I don't now. Sometimes with the buddy reads you do, which is why I avoid them. There's things people are reading that I'd love to jump on board with, but I pick up at random. So here at work, just to stop rambling about this, but watch Lukash's videos, excellent. Here at work right now, well, you can see I'm more than halfway on this Possessed by Memory, The Inward Light of Criticism by Harold Bloom. I think this thing came out this year. Let me take a look here. Harold Bloom is someone I love to read. 2019, Alfred Knopf, New York. Do they have a picture of it? Oh, they have a little artist rendition. A lot of you have seen his Shakespeare book. They're doing Shake Tube this year. Another buddy read I did the first year they had it, and I haven't done it since. Well, maybe I did it the second year. I don't remember. But this is a sad book. This is a man, not in the autumn of his life. He's moved into the next season, and there's constant references to waking up at night, remembered poetry, remembered friends, remembered time. It's a real sadness. And once you get it along in life, that sadness, these lines in this book, really, I mean, it's your own, you're on that road too, right? And so I read some of this. He's taken a couple falls. He talks about can't sleep at night. He's engaged with these writers he's been engaged with his entire life. He reads. He's a reader. He is the reader. And he reports back. And it's a sad book, but I am loving this book. But I can go in here. So here, let me see. Of happy men that have the power to die, and grassy barrows of the happier dead, release me and restore me to the ground. Thou seest all things, thou wilt see me, my grave. Thou wilt renew thy beauty morn by morn. I, earth and earth, forget these empty courts, and thee returning on thy silver wheels. He's reading Tennyson, right? He's now I'm about ready to do the Echoes of the King. So he's grappling with his lifetime of reading and his own mortality. And reading it in short sections is maybe the best way to read this book. So maybe sitting down and reading all the way through is not the way to do it. I don't know. You'd have to decide on your own, but it's something I'm really loving. And Lukács also talked a little bit about the length of books. So the other couple I have going here at work, I'm reading Edward Gibbon, rereading from years ago. I read it too young. Rereading his The Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire. This is volume 1. It's in the Great Book series. Just something I had lying around at work, so you get an idea of the size of the print and the double columns. And this is a masterful, massive work. And I just started. So it's lying around. When I have some quiet time, I'll grab it and sit down. The only complaint I have about this is that the notes are in the back. So eventually I'll have a second note bookmark going, because I love the notes. I love footnotes. And Gibbon, the footnotes are sometimes better than the main narrative, if I remember correctly. But so this is 2 volumes. I may not finish this until next spring, and that's fine with me. So it doesn't affect me having multiple books going. I mean, this is not a chunker, but it's a pretty good sized book. And this, I guess by any definition, would be. So I have this going. And then at the same time, I'm reading Boswell's London Journal at home. Yale University Press. It was one of those things that was found long after Boswell had passed on. It's really revealing and somewhat shocking, even to modern sensibilities. But it's fascinating, and I've been reading that for months. That sits on a side table. I pick it up when I'm in the mood, and I'm almost done with that, actually. But so I've been another one of these Great Books volumes that I have hanging around here. This is Life of Samuel Johnson by James Boswell. Let's see if I can get it there for you to look at. So, and this is a reread. I'm only on page 50. This sits around the library, and I'll pick it up as time goes on. It's not a short book by any definition. And when I pick it up, I'm right back where I was and enjoying it. So that's just work reads. It's something I do here. Plus I have magazines. I have journal articles. This week I started with a poetry workshop. We have a poetry editor who lives in the area and a couple poets, and we all meet at the library. It goes late into the night on Wednesdays. I write poetry. I don't publicly perform poetry. I think I did read some poetry. I've read some poetry on the channel, but I do write my own, and it was a little bit of an experience because I've never been to a poetry workshop. And you read the way this one's working. I read my poem, which I felt a little awkward doing. Then another person in the group reads my poem out loud also. Everybody has a copy of it. And then everybody starts talking about your poetry, about your writing, and it's a little awkward also. But it was really fun. We're going to do it again next week, and then it's going to be an ongoing thing. So, and I liked hearing other people's stuff, and I was amazed how talented people are. It was fun to hear what they're doing. So, yeah, that's The Bookish Life, the BookTube channel. Again, in response to Lukács, not every book shows up. I do feel pressure sometimes with the read-alongs to get away from what I was going to originally read, which a point he makes that I think is a good one. But I don't find that multiple books bother me. It never have. I've been doing this for 50 years reading that way, and I will do it until the last day. But yeah, I really enjoyed the conversation listening to that. So that is Friday. This weekend, I'm hoping to go apple picking. We're running out of weather for that, so I need to get out. The kids love doing it every year. And then I may go drive around some country roads this weekend if the weather's nice. I don't even care if it's nice. And then, so autumn's my favorite time of year, and then winter's my second favorite. So that's coming too. So it's going to be a nice time of year. And we'll get some reading done. So you have a good weekend, and thank you, BookTube.